Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Retro Gamers Podcast, your home for casual coffee table conversations about everything retro gaming. Anthony here, and look who's back.
You know what? I decided to stick around just a little bit longer.
Yeah, but Larry's like one of those funguses you can't get rid of.
There's a fungus among us.
There's a fungus among us, and his name is Larry. Now, Larry, welcome back again. Obviously, it's always great having you on the show, and even, in a stretch of like this is like technically your third episode in a row.
Kind of, sort of, if you will. I'll take it. No problem. It's actually fun to be back, and especially for this long of a period. So, I'm starting to kind of get back into old habits, which you might not be happy about, but I'm here anyway. So we're gonna have a fun time this week.
That's all right. Your old habits are welcome, just the same way I used to shut down your old habits. So
Quickly.
it's
You
perfectly
and
fine.
Frank now on popcorn. What the hell?
Yes. Yeah, and for everybody out there, the Retro Gamers Podcast, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us everywhere at Retro Gamers Podcast. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. Watch us on Spotify and YouTube. Thought I would get the spiel out of the way. And
Absolutely.
also available now are our special subscription levels on Spotify and YouTube. For $3 a month, you can get bonus level content, which includes um, continuing conversations of every episode, some other videos throwing up like pop-up playthrough and things like that. Larry, I went through our archives and found some videos that I'm probably going to be using that
Oh,
we never,
really?
yeah, never before seen aired
Ooh.
videos from our history in the Retro Gamers
Oh,
podcast
I'm in
I
on
found.
that.
So
All
that, yeah,
right.
so that'll be fun to see.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other things. So check out the subscription levels on Spotify and YouTube and get a bunch of extra content. And also, we have refreshed our merchandise page over on Printify, and you can go to theretrogamers.com, our website, to check out the shop page. Got a bunch of stuff up there between t-shirts, hoodies, cell phone cases, all kinds of stuff. So if you want to support the Retro Gamers Podcast in this manner, we would be very appreciative if you did so. And then on that note, Larry, you want to just do a quick hit on your podcast, which is
Absolutely.
all over the place now?
It is. It's getting there. What's in my popcorn? The dirtiest sounding podcast that's not dirty at all. Myself and Frank Messina, every week we pull a movie from the popcorn bucket, and then the following week we discuss it after watching it. So it also kind of gives you at home, if you have nothing to do each week, you're like, you know what? Let's watch a movie. Which movie? How about the one they pulled on What's in My Popcorn, which you can listen to anywhere you listen to podcasts every Monday. We drop every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern. So check us out. What's in My Popcorn? If you want to email us, let us know how we're doing. Let us know what we're not doing. Or you want to recommend movies, because every fifth episode we will pull a listener requested movie. Email us popcornpod123@gmail.com.
Nice. And then, of course, I should also mention our other little YouTube channel that we started, which is called Rewriting Wrestling History, where Larry and I rewrite special events or memorable events from wrestling history through video game engines, and we commentate those, which is also fun.
Yeah,
And
that's been a
then,
blast.
yeah, and then there's also Retro Game News on YouTube, which does a weekly news report of the latest news in retro gaming. So, wow, there's a lot going on with us.
Look, you've been way more busy since I left this podcast, and again, very
Yeah.
happy for it. But the retro news is very fun to watch. The rewriting wrestling history, like I said, we've had a absolute joy doing, and it's fun to
Yes.
watch. And of course, the bread and butter, the Retro Gamers podcast itself.
Yeah, just been a lot. There's been so much going on. And speaking of so much going on, Larry, you had to be here for this episode. There was no question about it because we are sort of celebrating our 10-year anniversary, 10 years of the Retro Gamers podcast on Facebook. We're saying that specifically because technically, the podcast did start before then, but for the longest time, we always recognized our Facebook page as our anniversary date. So this was a perfect opportunity for us to make the excuse to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. Although I'm probably going to switch it when we hit 15, if it hits 15. We did originally start in November of 2015. So
Yeah.
it's been about 10 and a half years, but we didn't celebrate it back in November. But when we got the 10-year notice on Facebook, I was like, okay, we need to stop and recognize that because a decade of talking retro gaming, it's just been unbelievable.
No, 10 years talking about retro gaming, it's been a long time. And it's been a fun time and it's been a blast. And I mean, kind of just real fast to talk about even the origins of how this all started. I was doing a little podcast beforehand. So if this is going on 10 and a half years, then me personally, I got like a year on top of that. So I've probably been podcasting myself on and off with various different
Hmm.
projects for like 11 years or so. And I was doing my own podcast, just having fun. You would happen to move back to the New York area because you were in
Yep.
LA, moved back to New York. And I'm like, hey, let's do an episode of my own show. More of the same, I think it was called back then, if I remember. And
Yes. Yes, it was.
so we it was when we went to the Renaissance Festival, had fun there, came back, recorded a quick little episode. It was fun. And then it was you were the one who goes, hey, you know what? Why don't we try and make something of this? Like do this more often, do it weekly. And that's how the Retro Gamers started. And I remember vividly that first episode. Again, you were in the New York area. I came up to you wherever you were, literally had one microphone, had my phone, my cell phone, which like I
Yep.
recorded live the theme song, like
That's
right into the
right.
mic, just held it right into the mic.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And back then they were like 20-minute episodes, 25-minute
They were
episodes.
super short. I remember the first one, like we were kind of like I felt like I was fumbling my way through it.
Actually, that's a lot better. That song's coming out nicer than I thought it would. So, yeah, I'm holding the iPhone up to the microphone, people. I'm on the road. What's going on, everyone? I'm for my non-sequential podcast that I put out on a non-regular basis, which is probably why no one's really catching on to them. But we're gonna see what we can do. I'm here with my friend Anthony again, not the regular Anthony you used to. You've heard him before on a podcast, barely, but here you're going to hear him a little bit better on today.
Yeah, I'm on the right side of the mic this
Yes,
time,
we're gonna-
so you might actually hear my voice for a change.
If I know how to upload this properly. But
Well, I have no hope in that. So.
neither do a lot of people. So we're back. Last time we were together, we spoke about. We were actually it was like in September. Went to that Renaissance Festival, and but we also touched on a little bit video games, and that's one of the topics we both like to talk about.
Absolutely.
Is video games, vintage video games. For you kids out there listening, that means going way back to probably before you were born. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, stuff like that.
Yes, when there were things called cartridges that had 8 kilobytes of wonderful fun on them.
Yeah, and you couldn't just get them anytime you wanted because they weren't downloadable. You actually had to go to the store, buy them, hopefully have your parents buy them. In my case, think it's sold out, see it on the rack, and then have a guy take it and give it to somebody else.
Or apparently, if you went to a New Mexico desert, you can dig up a specific game where there were thousands upon thousands of them buried.
Which, look, we all do when we first start doing this. You know what I mean? So, if you were to compare those first episode of anything
Yeah.
to like where it is now to the present, trust me, I've gotten leaps and bounds what I'm doing. You've gotten leaps and bounds of what you're doing with it. But it's been a great experience. And a lot of times it also, like when you moved back to LA, this
Yeah.
was, I mean, look, we're friends, so we're always going to talk to each other. And we have a friendship where it's not like, if we just don't happen to communicate for a while, we pick up right where we left off.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, sign of a true friendship. But the glue to that was a bit this show as well, because it got us together every week, even on
Mhm.
Zoom, before Zoom was cool.
Yes.
And well, no, it wasn't Zoom. What was it?
No, it wasn't Zoom. We were just because we were just audio for the first 100.
That's true too. Yeah, yeah. And then we switched to video, which I'll admit I've never been a fan of the video.
No,
but
no. I remember I dragged you
You did.
into
You
into
did.
the video portion of it. I said, you know what? We're talking gaming. We got to do video.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 101 of the Retro Gamers. Larry actually here.
And Anthony actually here.
What's
am
going
I
on?
here? I don't even know if I'm here.
we're both here. This is new. This is a new endeavor for the retro gamers.
Definitely
I mean,
new.
we've been live. We've
Mhm.
done stuff like this before, but now we're on this endeavor to record every week, which means I got to look pretty at about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Dude, I gotta look pretty at 7. I am 3 hours
But
behind
it's
you,
like,
and I have to say, if I do say so, I look better than you right now at 7
oh,
a.m.
I
Yeah,
I will admit I just threw the hat on because I didn't have time to do my hair. So,
very nice.
but this
Well,
is
welcome, welcome.
yes, no, and welcome everyone who's watching where we're posting this on Facebook and YouTube.
Mhm.
And this is the Retro Gamers. If you're new to the show, Ant, you want to kind of fill them in on what they can expect from us?
Sure. The Retro Gamers is a retro gaming podcast, and now I don't know. What do you call a video cast? Do you call it
I think like
video
a video podcast.
a video podcast? Well, now it's a
Yeah,
video
why not?
podcast, and we talk all video games retro, and how we determine that is still up for debate, and it'll always be up for debate. Um, yeah, that's what we do. That's
That's
it.
basically it.
That's it.
We've known each other for over at this point 25 years, maybe 20 years.
Yeah. Once we hit
20
25,
years.
yeah, once we hit 25, I gotta cut it off.
And
It's
so this
it's like amputating a limb.
see, I'm because me, I'm like radio, like that's
Mhm.
in my head. But the video's been fun, and the video has led to a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool moments that we're going to talk about. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, 10 years, just well, I guess 8 for me, but but 10 years for the show
Yeah.
has been
Yeah.
amazing, and
Well,
and I,
and to give you credit, though, I mean, not only did you help, you sustained this for a majority of the the time, but also like even though you left the show, you haven't really left the show. You've actually just kind of absorbed. You caused the show to alter itself into a different format, and you're still an active part of that. So to me, it's not really like you haven't left. You've just helped turn the show into something a little bit different.
I've heard a lot of people say that. Well, you just haven't left. Please,
No.
can you
You
just
are you
go?
are that last person at the party who doesn't get the clue that they're kicking you out. Like when the families are like when the people are like cleaning up the place and they're shutting lights off in rooms and you're the one just sitting on the couch watching TV.
And I gotta be honest with you, that might have happened in the past as well, for real. But no, and we've had a lot of great moments. We're going to get into it. And a lot of things in both our lives have happened because of the podcast, mostly what you can see behind us both.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what you see, I feel like I can talk for the both of us, might not be here if it wasn't for the podcast.
No, you are 100% correct. I don't think I would have a library of 900 plus video games if we did not do this show. Maybe I'd
Seriously.
be at like 800 instead of 900.
Yeah, the love was always there, but you're right. Like
Yes,
the show kind of forced us to at times like, oh, I got to get this for the show, but oh, I
yep,
also want to get this. So, and
yes.
a lot of times the want we use the excuse of the show to justify. So,
Exactly. So yeah, so what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna go a little old school with the show. Haha, old school. We're gonna go a little old school with the show. We're gonna break this show up into a couple of segments because there are other things to celebrate besides our decade, right? A little bit later on, we're gonna be talking about another monumental anniversary, which is the Nintendo 64 turning 30 as of today, the day this episode drops, June
wow.
23rd. We're also going to be talking about Sonic turning 35, and we're going to talk about the 2026 World Video Game Hall of Fame inductees, which were done, I think, last month, but we just haven't gotten to them yet.
Mhm.
But, first and foremost, we're going to stroll down memory lane. We're going to talk about a few things. I know we talked about how this all started. And we're just going to, again, this is just going to be stream of consciousness. We're going to just bump back and forth. Some of the things that I told Larry I wanted to talk about, and we can start here and then see where we go, are games that we either discovered or played because of the podcast. Because, obviously there are tens of thousands, and I don't know how many games are in existence now, if we've hit
A
the
gajillion.
millions. Yeah, probably a gajillion games, but there were a lot of games that we only played because they came up on a show or
True.
they were a focus of an anniversary or something like that. We were like, oh, hey, I never went back and played this one. So, Larry, when I told you about this, about like games that this show, I don't want to say forced you to play, but just made you connect with that you hadn't connected with before. Was there one that popped out immediately to you?
1,000%, because for the most part, I was forced to play it. Early, early,
Yes, yes.
early on, like single digit episodes. We talked
Hmm.
about Castlevania II,
Yes, we
and
did.
I touched on it early, and to this day, it's still true, holds true to me. I do not like Castlevania II.
No, you
Never,
don't.
never liked it, never enjoyed it. It's my least favorite Castlevania. It should be called Castlevania Breath of the Tears. That's how
Yes.
bad it is.
And by the way, that Castlevania 2 episode, I don't think I don't think it's available online, but that was episode 30. Just
Oh,
to go all the way back.
okay. So it was double
So,
digits then. All right.
yeah, it
Well,
was episode 30.
and the early on, we were doing this thing where we're like, you know what? Let's like play, and this is again before the video. Let's play a game, and each week, like we kind of talk about it. So I'm like, all right, I'll pick up or I'll start with Castlevania 2. And that was like episode 30. And I can't remember the episode number, but I do remember that I did at that point count the days. And from the time on this podcast, I said I legitly
Yep.
started. Actually, I think we were kind of streaming at the time. Castlevania 2, I think it was over almost like 2,300 days later. I
Yes.
finally completed Castlevania 2.
Last week I had chosen Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest for the NES because Larry made a promise way back at the beginning of this podcast that he was finally going to play through this game.
I
And then,
saw. Well, first of all, just a huge fan of the Castlevania series, and Bloodlines was just. I don't remember.
Really? The whole series, even Castlevania 2?
It's been a while since I played Castlevania 2, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna discredit it as the redheaded stepchild. So it's part of the family. And
Yeah.
when I get the mini NES, I'm gonna have no choice but to play it. So
That's right. What a horrible night to have a curse.
actually, yeah, like every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes, and it would take 5 minutes to show up on your screen.
Here's what we'll do. You know what? I'm going to go on record. I'm not going to wait for the mini NES. As soon as you're done with Shining Force 2, I'll pick up Castlevania 2 and I'll start to play through that.
Oh,
And God
you
help me,
poor man.
you won't play your game till about 2 years from now because it's going to take me forever to finish that damn
Well,
game.
I actually
and then
finished
a few weeks later jumped on the podcast to say that he's giving up on it because he absolutely hates it.
Yes. And that's where my like re-loathing of the game
Mhm.
began.
Yes.
Yes, very, very early on. And if I did my research right, you might hear me even mention that. Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. So Anthony brought the game up, and I am if and nothing else, I'm a consummate professional. So
Sure you are.
because it was game of the week, I stepped in with open arms and ready to plow through this ridiculously flawed game, in my opinion. Still not happy about playing it, but if it wasn't for this, I would never have completed Castlevania 2, let alone a bunch of other games that we'll talk about a little later completing. But yeah, Simon's Quest will forever be a bane of my existence, but I will always equate it to the show.
Well, and what I found funny about that is because I remember specifically us talking about it and you promising our audience you would play through it. I think it wasn't that long after that I went on one of my many trips to Japan for work. And there was I think I was there over a weekend, so I had time. So one morning, I just sat down in Japan and I played through Castlevania 2 in one sitting.
Yeah.
And then I either posted the video or I live streamed it. I don't remember. I may have live streamed the actual playthrough. I couldn't remember. But I had done it because of the fact that you had talked about how much you hated that game and that you didn't want to play it, but then you promised to. And then it took you like years and years to play it. And the other interesting thing, and I just got an email reminder about this game, I think yesterday, that there's a Castlevania like game coming out called
Yes.
The Transylvania Adventure of Simon Quest. And that actually just released on June
Well,
19th.
well,
It's available to download now.
hold on. The demo
Oh, I'm sorry,
released
the
June
demo.
19th
The
on
demo release.
Steam
Yes.
and Itch.io. So
Yes.
it's going to come out on main consoles, but the demo is on Steam and Itch.io.
Yeah, but it's basically the story of Castlevania 2, where you're going back, speaking to the villagers, working your way to the mansion, to bring Dracula back to life and destroy him once and for all, so he doesn't get resurrected by your enemies.
No.
So the timing on that was just perfect. And I definitely am gonna pick up the Transylvania Adventure of Simon Quest. So I'm
Oh yeah,
looking
whenever
forward
that
to
comes
that
out. Yeah.
whenever that comes out. But yeah, Castlevania 2 was one of the first ones that jumped out to me because of all the conversations we had about it. I still love that game. I know you still hate that game. I loved the remake, the free remake somebody did online that I played through.
That looked good.
Yeah,
That I would play.
which was actually really good, even though I got stuck at the end.
Hmm.
But it was a lot of fun. And now this Transylvania thing. So Simon's Quest has kind of been a through line for this entire
It
decade.
really has, yeah.
We always seem to circle back to it. Yeah, and for now, I'm just gonna switch over
Yeah.
to a game I have on the list, which I thought was worth bringing up. And since I talked about Japan, we'll talk about that for a quick moment because, obviously, that at the beginning of this show, because of my job, I was traveling to Japan almost monthly. So, and those trips to me kind of cemented my um I want to say addiction, but I don't want to say addiction. But my love for collecting video
Okay.
games, because I would go to Japan and I would leave like half my suitcase empty
Yes.
because I'd run to Super Potato
Yes. Oh
every
my
chance I
gosh.
got.
Super
I,
potato.
I would run to Super Potato. Both I ran to every version of Super Potato I
Oh, I
could
don't know.
find. You
Hmm.
can't find the little thing you had.
Yeah, I had to pay. It's somewhere. It's just not
It's
here
somewhere.
readily. Yeah.
But I would always run to Super Potato and I would just buy games in bulk and I would load them up in my suitcase. I am shocked that I never got stopped by security at the airports, by like TSA or anything like that. Like any security, nobody stopped me, but I would just load up on games and consoles. Like that's where I got my Famicom, my Famicom disk system, my
Mm.
Super Famicom, all the games. And I know I brought you back a bunch of stuff too.
You were my mule. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
I was
sent
your
you a
mule.
list. I'm like, you got to get this. Give me the cleanest cut of what
Yeah,
you can find.
yeah.
And you would smuggle it back. And that's how I ended up with pretty much all these Famicom games and a lot of,
Yep.
import games yeah, that
Yeah.
all because of you.
Yeah, and a quick side note, the person at the post office who raided the box I sent Larry and stole the Super Mario watch, if you're watching or listening, we will find you. We are
I was
still hunting you down.
I was going through some like in preparation of this episode, I was going through the old. I went back on the Instagram page,
Yep.
and there was a picture of the box because you still sent me the box.
Yes.
It's the watch that got
No,
removed
no, no,
from
no,
it.
no. I sent you the box. No, no, no.
Yeah,
It was in the box
yeah.
when I sent it. Somebody opened the
No, I know.
package.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, like, yeah, so you just got the empty box. They didn't even bother
yes.
keeping the box. They were like, we just want the watch.
Fools.
Absolute unbelievable.
Oh well.
But anyway,
But those
but
trips to Japan, just real quick, you're right. That also kind of cemented not like a thing that we did on the podcast, but let's face facts. Because of your travels, you did a lot of quote unquote remote episodes
I
where you
did.
were in Japan, Singapore, Michigan, like all these different places.
Yeah.
So
Michigan.
yeah, I think one time we counted how many different places,
How
even
many
let alone
countries I've been
outside
in?
countries outside the
Yeah.
US that you recorded from. Um, but no, your trips to Japan were always fun. A, what you were looking for. B, what you found. C, what you reported. And D, just you recording from those locations.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I never thought that this show would be an international type of show.
Seriously.
But clearly it did become that way.
Yeah.
And then getting back to the games I purchased
Mm.
at Super Potato. Oh, which by the way, just for a future note, Larry, I believe I have a trip to Japan coming up in the fall.
Ooh.
So I am bringing a bigger suitcase this time. Because it's been a long time since I've been to Japan, so I need to load up. I just
Okay.
need to load up on stuff.
All right.
Maybe I'll pick up an N64 for my collection since it just turned 30. We'll see.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
But one of the games that I picked up there, and that's what I wanted to get to. One of the games I picked up there that I was so excited to get because I was a huge fan of this movie in the 80s, and what 80s kid wasn't? We got a game on the NES for this movie, but when the game came out, it was a sequel and it was very confusing. And the game I'm talking about is the Goonies.
Yes.
So, Goonies movie, absolutely one of my favorite 80s movies. And the video game on the Nintendo when it came out was the Goonies 2. And I'm like, that's weird. Why is it the Goonies 2? And me as a kid's just thinking, oh, it's a sequel to the movie.
I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah, so I had no idea because again, no internet, right?
Yeah.
No such thing as the internet back then, was that there was an original Goonies game based on the movie that was only released in Japan. Now, why it was only released in Japan, I don't know. So I was so excited when I found that at Super Potato. I grabbed that off the shelf. I was like, holy cow. I was like, this is amazing. And not only that, it was like probably like 20 bucks, I think. It wasn't even that expensive. I
Yeah.
was so happy to put that in my collection and not only put it in my collection, but to play through it entirely
Mm.
and beat the game was just so gratifying to me because, man, I had no idea that existed. And when I saw it did, I was so excited.
No, yeah, that's good. Like the amount of, and of course, by the time you started traveling to Japan, we already knew of Japanese exclusives. We
Of
were aware
course.
that there was but now to get your hands on the Japanese exclusives, like you were now, obviously I paid you for them, but
Of
you
course.
got me, like, for example, like the three Shining Force 3 books, if you will, the three games on the Saturn, the
Yes.
Japanese versions. You brought those are in my collection. They will be forever. I mean, the collection is different now. Unfortunately, life and it's funny because, like, when I stepped away from the podcast, not that I'm done with gaming, but like some of this like odd stuff that I bought, it was some
Hmm.
weird stuff that I ended up buying. I'm like, what am I going to do with an Atari VCS? It is unplugged right now. It is kind of stored away, my Atari
Hmm.
VCS, which again, and that's a whole nother thing. The amount of the pre-purchases, the pre-orders that I did throughout the show.
Oh, dude, you did a lot.
The Atari VCS, the Intellivision Amico, which ended up not going anywhere.
Ha!
But I got my money back, so that's okay.
The
Uh,
Polymega.
the Polymeg was that's a whole story unto itself. I'll talk about in a second.
Yeah,
But the exclusive Japanese games, like a Japanese Link to the Past, a Japanese Super Mario Brothers 4 Super Mario World.
that's
So
right.
that's what was really cool. And again, yeah, no, the amount of stuff that you brought back that were Japanese exclusives that really would not, if we got them here, they would have been so expensive. But they
Yes.
were, I wouldn't say dirt cheap, but they were inexpensive for Japan. You know what I mean? Because they were
Yeah,
there. So they're their own games.
exactly. I mean, that's where again, just going through the Japan stuff, that's where I found the what was the retro bit one that you threw out? The
Oh, oh my God, the Game Freak?
oh, the Game
Retro Freak.
Freak. I'm sorry,
Retro
Retro
Freak.
Freak.
Retro Freak.
The Retro Freak. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That system to me, it's still in my collection. I stumbled upon it the day it went on sale. And I grabbed one, and the next day when I went back for another one, it was gone. But I was
And
so happy to get that.
the Retro Freak, real fast, was like 16 systems in one. It was like the first 16 systems in one
Yes.
system. And it works great, except apparently when you buy the Genesis adapter, and the Genesis adapter will not fit in the Genesis slot of the system.
No, no, no.
So,
The Genesis one was part of the original slot. Is part
no,
of
no,
the
no, no.
original
Remember the
console.
adapter to play like Master System, to play
Oh,
Game Gear
yes, yes,
games
yes,
into
yes.
that. And since it wouldn't fit, and actually I couldn't get any Genesis games in mine, I ordered mine from England. I didn't even get mine imported from
Yep.
you.
Nope.
And I wasn't going to return it, like for like an extra like $75 shipping. So it's somewhere in a landfill on Staten Island.
That poor Retro Freak.
Oh, I was so mad. I was so
I
mad.
know. I know. All right. So yeah, lots of great memories from Japan. So many things, so many things brought back from there.
Other things to talk about just super fast.
Yeah.
What about a lot of times on this podcast, things didn't go in my favor.
No.
For those who've been around long enough. How about the epic kung fu gameplay?
Oh my God, that Kung Fu gameplay was the best. That made me laugh so much. Not only because I was there and got to witness it in person, but I was recording it because and I need to tell the first part of the story. So first part of the story is Larry admitted that he never beat Kung Fu on the NES, which was shocking to me because Kung Fu's not a difficult game.
No, and it's like a 5 minute game.
Yeah, and you can beat it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So when Larry and I went to Game On, in Long Island, they had Kung Fu on their little TV. Like they had it already hooked up. So Larry's like, okay, what the hell? I'm gonna play through it. And Larry's like just cruising through it. Everything's great. And then he's like, hey, he's like, I think I'm gonna beat it. Let's record the ending. I'm like,
Why
okay,
not?
great. So then I start recording it. And then Larry will take the rest of the story from here.
There they go. Punches are more powerful, right? Yeah, but you have to get super close to do it, so just stick to the kicks. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, yes!
Oh, I forgot. That's no fair. That is so.
And still, Larry has not beaten Kung Fu.
All right, so I'm on the last level. I get to the final boss, right, Mr. X, and I lost a couple of times. So now I have no lives left, and I get up to him again, and now we're battling it out. We're going back and forth, and he's getting the best of me, and I have like very little energy left, and I wasn't going to continue. And I finally got the best of him. Boom, wahaha, defeated. Yes, I put the controller down. I celebrate, thinking the game is over because I beat the final boss, completely forgetting that you have to walk and finish the floor and walk up the stairs. So as I was celebrating, a henchman comes in, goes, hey, you just beat my boss, slaps me, kills me, game over. I do not officially beat the game. And I did that in front of people.
Yes. And I could not stop laughing because I literally shouted to you. I'm like, Larry, you're not done. I'm like,
Yeah, I know. That was a tough loss.
However, that was a tough loss and probably the best loss we've ever captured on the podcast or for the podcast. But you did make up for it because when we did our video game challenge in 2020 and 2021, it was a 1-year challenge that became a 2-year one thanks to COVID. We were like, let's just extend it.
Why not?
That Kung Fu was the first game you beat in 2020. It was the first one on that list.
It was, and actually, funny enough, I'm trying to pull up the list, and now all of a sudden I can't.
I do have the list in front of me.
Oh, okay, do you? All right.
So
here it is. I got it now. I just pulled it up. Okay. Yeah. No. The game completion, which basically was whoever can complete the most games, and to this day, I still kind of feel like I was robbed on that one.
Why?
Because I mean, look, you just because you can complete 4 games on a 6-hour flight back to LA or whatever you were doing, or you're heading overseas and you pack on 3 more games. I never said anything. I'm not going to contest it. But
no. You I remember you specifically contested.
Oh, I was vocal then. Yes.
The Capcom Arcade Collection, because I played through a bunch of those games with other people playing as characters, but I still completed the games.
You did. It ended up being 23-14 for that matter.
23-14. And if I took, and I did point out too, if I took off that whole collection, I still had more games than completed.
Whatever.
So, but I will say though, for that challenge, there were a number of games on that list that I had never played before. So if not for this podcast, granted, I had them in my collection, I may not have, because I have a ton in my collection I haven't played. I may not have sat down to play some of those. And and like notably, the Goonies was the first one I beat in that list.
Yeah.
But one of the other ones, I just want to give a quick shout out to one I never sat down and played through, Super Metroid.
I was just going to mention that. So for me, and we both did it because of the contest. That got me I was on a Metroid run for a while. Remember that?
Yes, you were. Yeah, you went on a huge Metroid run.
Because actually what happened was Metroid Dread came out for Switch, which we all got, played it. Fantastic game. Absolutely fantastic. Yep. Still holds up today. But then I'm like, we mentioned the contest. I'm like, let me move to Super Metroid. Loved Super Metroid. Got through that. Soon as I was done with Super Metroid, I moved on to Metroid 2, Return of Samus for Game Boy. Got through that, moved on to Zero Mission,
Hmm.
and then finally later on completed Fusion
Yep.
later on. So I went through all of them. And again, I think if it wasn't for the contest, I probably would have stopped at like Super Metroid. I probably wouldn't went automatically into those other ones
Yep.
because I needed to give myself time off, which I refuse to, which is kind of what I'm doing now. I got through Wind Waker, Zelda Wind Waker. I'm on a Zelda kick right now.
I know you are. You've been
Yeah.
talking about that.
Completed Wind Waker HD. Got that done. Immediately went into Twilight Princess. Original OG on the GameCube.
Nice.
Finished that. Great game. Now I moved on and I officially started Skyward Sword HD on the Switch, which I'm finally getting the hang of after 3 dungeons, finally learning to use the motion controls properly.
Yeah, don't look up my live streams for any tips because I was struggling through that one and I'm still
Oh,
not done.
Again, these are not being 100%, and none of these are being 100. In fact, my
Yeah.
times for Metroid were abysmal, but I still got through them.
Yes.
But yeah, no, the Metroid series, which I was never a fan of, not saying they were bad. Obviously, Super Metroid, one of the best games of all time.
Hands down.
But I never got into them, and here I am now playing and enjoying that out of the 2D ones. You know, the 3D ones are cool. Metroid Prime 4 is cool. Metroid Prime, the original remaster on Switch is great. But it's another one I played. Another one I played live streamed that I probably wouldn't have was Captain America and the Avengers on
Yes.
Genesis before the Amazing X-Men collection came out. I
Yeah,
threw that in.
which I love.
Oh yeah.
I love
Fell
that
in love
collection.
with that game. And then one more I'll mention, Batman on the PC Engine.
Yes, yes. I want that game.
Oh,
do
game
want-
is
I want
great.
that
It
game,
has like
yeah.
a Bomberman feel to it, at least the look of
Mhm.
it.
Yep.
And it plays on the PC Engine. It'll play on the analog. Polymega versus analog. That's a whole nother story for another time.
Yep.
And yeah, you know, these again games that I would have just thought about, or at least I would have maybe started and never finished. But because of the podcast, I went through them.
Yep. And same here. With that challenge, like the games that I played through on there that I never played through before, Castlevania Rondo of Blood,
Oh
um,
yes, yes.
which was fantastic. Like I said, the Capcom Arcade Collection got me through like Captain Commando, Knights of the Round, all these games that I never even would have touched.
Okay.
Was great. And then the Disney Afternoon Collection.
Yes.
I devoured those. Like I went through
Yeah.
DuckTales 2, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers 1 and 2, Tailspin,
Yeah.
Darkwing Duck, just played through them all. Which was so much fun. Another notable one that I played through with that challenge, which I've gone on record to say I get it. I get why people enjoy it. I did not enjoy it, even though I beat it, was Blaster Master.
It's a tough one. It's a weird one because I
Yeah.
enjoyed Blast Master Zero, which were not well, the first one's kind of a remake of Blaster Master, and then they made 2 more games, which were really good. And I beat those. Well, I beat the first 2. But when I go back to try and play the original Blaster Master, it's almost like I haven't touched the original Metroid.
Mhm.
I played Zero Mission, which is a remake, and it's great, but I'm not playing because there's no map. I can't play without a map.
No,
at this
yeah,
age.
I remember when I beat the first Metroid, how
Yeah.
hard it was because I couldn't find you couldn't figure out how to
So.
get through it. Yeah,
But great
and then
games.
just a lot of great games. A couple more I just want to mention really quickly. Again, thanks to Japan, I randomly picked up this game because I thought it looked cool, and I'm so grateful I did. The Fireman, another Japan
Yes,
exclusive
I was
game
gonna
on the
mention
Super
that.
Famicom.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that game. Now I will say this. I've yet to beat this one. It's not all about beating games, just playing games that you haven't you
Yeah.
never did before. But thanks to the show, I found that game. I'm about 3/4 of the way through it on my Polymega because I haven't installed
Okay.
on my Polymega. And I'm going to put up a retro playthrough of that when I finish it,
Okay,
which is
cool.
awesome. Thanks to you. This is a recent one. Thanks to you. This is your fault. I got through Golden Axe Warrior, which was
Yeah.
basically the Legend of Zelda with the Golden Axe overlay, basically.
Complete ripoff
again,
of Zelda.
Yeah, total ripoff of Zelda. Absolutely frustrating to get through. When I told Larry I finished it, I told him I will never play this game again. And then going back and thinking back on it, I'm like, you know what? I go, this probably was as challenging as the Zelda was the first time I played it. So it's probably on par. I'm just grumpier as an adult.
Fair enough. I believe that.
Yeah,
For both of us. For both of
yeah,
us.
for both of us. I was a grumpy kid to begin with.
You were kind
Um,
of, yeah.
but hey, but yeah, Golden Axe Warrior was also another one. Like I was very like I was that was a surprise to me because I didn't even know it existed until you brought it up to me.
Yeah, no,
Not to
it's
mention
a,
the
yeah.
fact that I have it in my collection like twice.
Oh,
Yeah, I have that Sega Genesis Classics collection, I think, on PS4 and Xbox 360.
okay.
That's on both of those.
Okay.
And then the last one I want to bring up because of this show, the handheld world has been opened up to me.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Larry knows how much I despised handheld gaming
But for
when
such a stupid reason.
I hated the small screens. It drove me nuts. Once the Switch came out and I had to travel so much for work, that seemed to have solved the problem.
Okay.
So
Well, that's a bigger screen than a Game Boy.
it is a bigger screen, but at least it got me used to the idea of okay,
Fair enough.
I can sit there and play some, play a handheld
Hmm.
game. It got me looking into handheld games specifically, one specifically, Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds, which
Hmm.
I've now played through. I did start Oracle of Ages a long time ago. I'm gonna have to restart that.
Oh, that game I've restarted so many times.
Yeah.
It's end
But
seasons.
yeah, but I have Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, I have Phantom Hourglass.
Okay.
I think I have Minish Cap. I don't have
Minish Cap is great.
yeah, I don't have the original Link's Awakening. I think I'm missing that one.
The
But
original game. Okay.
yeah, the original. Like I played the one on the Switch,
Yeah, no,
the
One Switch is
remaster.
good, but like if you want to like, I mean it's stepping back, but even playing
Yeah.
the original OG Link's Awakening is really good. Minish Cap, I extremely recommend Minish Cap.
Yeah.
Great Zelda game.
But yeah, but now I have a Game Boy, a Game Boy Advance. I have I have a Nintendo DS or
There
a
you go.
3DS. I have a DS, a 3DS.
Perfect.
So I got to get a Game Gear for my collection though.
Yes.
Need to add that. But yeah, just just a whole other world that got opened up to me with this, um, which
I
is amazing.
Another thing for me, real fast, another thing that I tend to do is go to these conventions. Besides the
Yes.
Retro Expo, which has been a blessing to us, has been a great friend to the podcast. We love doing the show. In fact, we're doing it again this year. So, get your tickets, liretro.com. We're going to have a table there. And I say I'm going to be helping Anthony this year. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be with
and
him
we're gonna
this
be
year.
pushing all of our stuff,
Yep.
all of our shows.
Yep. And, but I also go like to Chiller Theater, New York Comic Con, and I've done reports from there as well. Talking about you doing Japan, I've reported from New York Comic Con. Like when I go to Chiller now, like instead of like getting like an 8x10 sign, I probably have maybe 5 or 6 video game cartridges signed by
Yes.
various people. I got 2 copies of Jaws, one by Richard Dreyfuss, not justifiable, and then
No.
the Kittner boy, the first victim of Jaws in the first movie, the boy who
Yes.
gets eaten. I got Karen Allen.
Oh yeah,
on-
the one whose mother looks like his grandmother.
Yes, it was the 70s. I got Karen Allen on Indiana Jones on Atari.
Nice.
Now I have Billy Mitchell on my copy of Pac-Man on Atari. I have Back to the Future signed by it's your cousin Marvin Berry. Got him to sign that. He's great. He's always there.
Please let's not forget Hollywood Squares.
Well, Hollywood Square. Actually, funny enough, on my list, I did forget Hollywood Squares because he was a jerk. But I do have John Davidson on Hollywood Squares. I have Sting on WCW versus the World. Technically, I bought that like that. TMNT, the arcade game on NES. I have Kevin Eastman
Nice.
on that one. And of course, I have the lovely and talented Jenna Jameson on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. She was actually a doll to meet. She was awesome.
Nice.
So again, I got like the first time I did, I'm like, oh, let me get a cart. Again, doing it for the pod. And I'm like, this is kind of cool to do. Oh, just recently I got on my Batman cartridge. I got not any of the leads. Who was the reporter? He was in Arliss. Robert-
Is it Robert Wall?
Robert Wool, yes.
Yes.
Robert Wool. And then he ended up selling me a $50 script that I thought was an original. In any event. So, doing that. Remember when we recorded from Barcade? The first time we
Yeah.
stepped out and did something in public.
Yes. Oddly enough, also way back in our audio episodes,
Early.
It was a two-parter, episodes 27 and 28.
Yes. It was very cool, very easy to do that as audio.
Yes.
And then of course the epic overnight that we both did respectively on Long Island and Los Angeles respectively, waiting for the Super NES Mini. So we
Uh,
lined up at our respective Best Buys. Though
mhm.
you did it, I think you got there much later than I did at mine. I got to my Best Buy at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, I think I got to
No, I
mine.
might have gotten there maybe at midnight.
Yeah, I think I got to mine around like 4:30 in the
Yeah.
morning. And the best part about that was because like when the NES Mini came out,
Nowhere to be
uh,
found.
it was nowhere to be found. We kind of got hosed. I only got one because there was an Amazon pop-up truck
Yes.
that showed up somewhere, and I literally left work and said, I'm going to pick up an NES Mini. I'll be right back. And then they were like, all right, whatever. Uh, I was like, so, and I ran over to the truck and grabbed it. But the SNES Mini, I remember we did not want to get screwed again. So we got up super early. We went in. Turned out they had, they made plenty of them. I wound up with, I think, 5 or 6 of them.
I ended up with like four.
Yeah,
I
I
got
ended
like
up with five or
three in
six.
person. I ordered one online that
Yeah.
night. That night. So
Well, yeah, because I remember ordering them online, getting them on at Best Buy, and then in the same outdoor mall I was at, my friend and I walked over to Target.
it's
I'm
exactly
sorry,
what I
no,
did.
wait, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, walked over to Target and then got one there too.
I did the
To have
exact
them.
same thing.
Yeah,
Waited for Best Buy, got a ticket, said come back later. I got my ticket, guaranteed. Ran over to Target, bought it there.
yep.
Went online, bought it there. Oh my God, it was all over the
Yeah,
place.
they were everywhere, and that worked out nicely because what I wound up doing with them is like people I knew who wanted one,
Yeah.
they just paid me
Oh, that's
for
what
it
I
and I
did
gave
too.
it to
Yeah.
them. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so that was really cool. Um,
So a
yeah,
lot. This show has given us a lot, and we've done a
it
lot
definitely
for the
has.
show.
Yes, we definitely have. And then may I add one more small thing,
Sure.
which is the the lore, the absolute lore that is VBSUX, which we
I was
cannot
trying to
go.
forget that.
Yeah, we can't talk about 10 years on the show without talking about Larry's love for the Virtual Boy and my love for making fun of Larry for the Virtual Boy. And whenever we talk about VB I always got to give a shout out to our friend Charlie who created the hashtag VB craze.
And for anyone who thinks it was just a bit that we did for the episode, we can tell you, I brought the system basically brand new to Anthony's house in 1995 or 96
95.
when it came out, 95. I'm like, Ant, this thing is awesome. Check it out. 10 minutes later, I finally had it all set up. And I'm like, just stick your head in there and try it out. He gave it maybe 3 minutes, 2 minutes maybe. He was like, "This is the worst thing I've ever played in my life." I'm like, "You have no idea what you're talking about. It's gonna be the number one seller that Nintendo's ever made." These are like quotes, and
Yeah.
if from day naught, it's always been, "I love this system." Anthony hates it. To this day, I love the system. Anthony hates it. I got the adapters for the Switch, to be able to play the games now, which I do hope one day they change that so you at least you can play it on TV.
Yeah.
And then the epic moment when I lost, shockingly, a contest. Anthony won a contest. He won a Virtual Boy and then sent me a birthday present that was beyond, which is over there, which is
Which you still
beyond,
have.
yep, a destroyed Virtual Boy. Not only that, he sent me the video of him destroying the Virtual Boy.
Yes. That there was a very like warm feeling in my heart that day when I
Your
got to
heart
do
grew
that.
2 sizes bigger that
It,
day.
it grew 2 sizes as I held the sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer, Sawzall. I swear I thought you guys were going to cut your fingers off.
That would have been the ultimate revenge.
Oh, that would
It
have
would
been
be like
great.
I
And I still
destroyed
have
your
the,
Virtual Boy and lost a finger in the
and
process.
here's my thumb. No, but that again, it just led to just amazing moments and stuff I'll to this day I'll never forget, and stuff that I cherish. I do cherish that Virtual Boy in its entirety of all its pieces.
Yes, no. I mean, we've had a lot of good moments. Obviously, in hindsight, it's not the best moment to be on a retro gaming podcast and then destroying a piece of retro gaming history.
Eh,
So for that, I'll own up to it. But so many great memories, Larry. And who knew 10 years later, 10 plus years later, we'd be sitting here talking about this. I had no
absolutely.
idea that this was going to go this long. I had no idea that this would continue when we shifted gears and you moved on to sunnier pastures.
I tried.
You
Yeah,
try,
no,
yeah,
well
but
now I do. I finally got
yeah,
it here with popcorn. But
yeah,
yeah, no, that was the hardest. I gotta be honest with you, that was the hard. I'm not gonna go into much into it, but not because it's nothing to talk about. Just we've already been talking. Um, that was the hardest decision I've ever had to make. And again, it was never if it was ever obviously it was never ill will or nothing like that, or I was tired. Just I wanted to try something new, and I knew which. Excuse me, which Ant, you have proven me right. You have proven me correct that you would take the show blast it off into the atmosphere, into the stratosphere, to the moon, and do amazing things with it. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'll keep saying it again as much as you hate hearing me say it. I'm
I do.
proud of you. I love what you did with the show. I'm happy to see it still going. I'm happy to be back. Even, I had that hiatus, for a while. And then, of course, what episode did I make my grand return on? The Virtual Boy episode when they announced it for the Switch and Switch 2.
Exactly.
So, best way to come back to the podcast. Periodically, of course, still
Yes.
your baby. And but no, it's been a heck of a ride. And as
It,
you can see, we talk ad nauseum. We don't know
yes.
how to time ourselves. We
No,
never have.
we don't.
We never will.
Every time I tell Larry, I'm like, we're gonna keep this to like 20 minutes on a topic. It would
Nope.
be like, an hour later, we're still talking.
It's been 2 days already. So
Yeah, it has been. But Larry, yeah, so yeah, congratulations, 10 years. This has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for starting this ride that we're both still on because the
yeah.
seatbelts won't come off.
Nope.
And we're just stuck here. We're gonna keep talking retro gaming till who knows, till we're in the nursing homes, I guess. I
We'll
don't
take
know.
it.
We'll take it. We'll definitely take it. But right now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to celebrate some other monumental anniversaries, including the Nintendo 64 and Sonic the Hedgehog. The Retro Gamers Podcast is brought to you by Old School Gamer Magazine. Sign up for as little as $20 per year for 6 issues that include feature articles, interviews with retro programmers, new and old product reviews, and more. If you look carefully, you'll even see an article or two penned by yours truly. You can head over to oldschoolgamermagazine.com/retrogamerspodcast and sign up so they know where you heard about it. Old School Gamer is dedicated to you, the old school retro gamers from the arcades to your home. All right, everybody, we're getting into the next bit here on this episode. We're going to start with, before we get into the anniversaries, there was something else that happened last month. We always mention this on the show, and we haven't mentioned it up until now. And it's the 2026 World Video Game Hall of Fame inductees. We had some inductees, and they were interesting this year, to say the least. The 4 games.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
they certainly were. And I mean, the finalists, I don't remember all the finalists, but even with the 4 inductees, every year when we've done this is always something I look forward to when we were doing it, just to see who goes in the official Hall of Fame, which you're not far from.
No, I'm not far
yeah.
from, because it's in Rochester. It's only about I think 3.5 hours from me. So
not bad at all. Yeah.
No, not to mention the fact that while I was in Texas recently, I ran across a video game Hall of Fame type of place.
I feel like this one's more official. I feel like this one's more official. Yeah.
This one's official, but it was actually a very interesting display and walkthrough, and I did post it on social media for those interested. I always find something video game related when I travel.
You do.
But the 2026 World Video Game Hall of Fame inductees are Angry Birds, Dragon Quest, EA Sports, FIFA and International Soccer for the Genesis, and Silent Hill.
Yes,
So,
4 times. Angry Birds feels like it just came out last week, but
it really does.
But be that as it may, 4 great titles. Dragon Quest celebrating its 40th anniversary this year.
Yep.
I remember getting the first. Here it was
Dragon Warrior.
It was wow, I forgot for a second. Dragon Warrior, which a lot of us were experienced to for the first time, getting a copy for free through Nintendo Power.
Mm-hmm.
So and never played it then, but maybe I'll give it a shot now. EA Sports FIFA International Soccer, great timing with the World Cup.
Yep. And I wonder if that leaned into the decision making there, because when I saw this get first off nominated and inducted, I'm like, really? Was it that good of a game? Because again, not a soccer fan, so this game completely went by me. And when I saw it get inducted, I'm like,
To be fair, 325 million copies of the series have been sold
Well,
since
then there you
up till
have it.
2021. So that'll justify it right there.
There you go.
And then Silent Hill, what can you say that hasn't been said already? Great games. A game that was very innovative because they were forced into it because
Yep.
of programming issues or programming concerns, which is why it's very foggy.
Yeah, technical limitations
Yeah,
actually. Yeah, they were forced to do the fog aspect of it, and it actually added so much to the game.
it did. And that I think is what turned it from a Resident Evil clone into a Silent Hill game. You know what I mean?
Correct.
We ended up
Yep.
getting some great movies out of it.
Yep. And
Yeah.
more games. There's
Yes.
another one coming in September. Silent Hill F dropped last October, which I have a
Yep.
copy of. Silent Hill 2 had a remake.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping one of these days I can get a copy of Silent Hill 1 so I can play through it.
Yeah. And yeah, so great. Congratulations, Angry Birds, Dragon Quest, EA Sports, FIFA, International Soccer, and Silent Hill.
Yes. I will say this though, I was disappointed that Galaga got shafted again.
It's the who was that? Who's that
Susan
soap opera
Lucci.
act Susan Lucci, who like
Su-
lost like she's like one win and like 47 nominations or something like that.
Yeah, it took her forever to finally win one. So Galaga, hang in there, you'll make it, but not for this year. So, but that's our 2026 World Video Game Hall
Awesome.
of Fame. Okay,
Congratulations.
next up, we got to be talking about the Blue Hedgehog, who
Yes.
only knows how to go fast. Sonic the Hedgehog turned 35 on June 21st, so a couple days
Holy
ago.
cow.
35 years of that Blue Hedgehog. And let me tell you something. That game was the reason. I will go on record, and I'm sure Sega will too. That game was the reason Sega was able to compete with Nintendo.
1000%. I mean, there's no way to even argue that. When you saw that, that blast processing kick into speed, if
Oh
you
man.
will, with Sonic, and basically got me, who apparently is a Nintendo snob,
Yep.
uh, got me going, this Genesis might be something worthwhile to look into when I was a kid with no money.
Yes.
But no, 1991, we got Sonic the Hedgehog. 15 million copies sold. Granted, a lot of that was bundled with the Genesis, but hey, it counts.
Yep.
But still, well worth it. To me, the sequel, Sonic 2, was the definitive Sonic for me.
You'll
That's the
see
one
that over my left shoulder right there,
Yep, yep.
next to Sonic Spinball.
Spinball, I have like a love-hate relationship with.
Yeah, I know.
It's like depending on what mood I'm in is whether or not I'm going
Yes.
to play it properly.
And then
Sonic's,
I think my Sonic up here, if you see me pointing,
yeah.
my copy of Sonic is the not for resale Sonic.
Ooh, okay. No, that's a good that's like a collection unto itself. Those not for resales.
Yes,
Yeah, which means it was the packing game, even better.
correct.
But yeah, Sonic 2, Sonic CD with that, the opening Sonic Boom song,
Mhm.
which is epic. And then we just go on, the next innovation, Sonic Adventure. Probably the last innovation was Sonic Adventure. And then we get all these different games still going today with the racing, Sonic Racing Crossworlds.
If
Is a
you haven't
great
played that, it is so much fun.
It is so phenomenal. They are doing DLCs with crossovers.
Yes.
They're doing a crossover with Godzilla that I cannot wait for this to come out.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
So, but yeah, no, Sonic. Oh, and then who can forget the cartoons? Remember the Saturday morning Sonic cartoons?
I will I remember them vividly because I wound up working for the animation company that made those
Yeah.
cartoons, and I have some of the original art in my collection because they were throwing it out.
And we have an episode where you can see that Anthony shows off a lot of his collection.
You
Beautiful
definitely
collection.
can. And for anybody who wants to see all that artwork, it's on episode 396.
Oh, there you go, right near the tail end. Okay, of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was some great artwork, some great shows. And it's funny, every now and again I'll see something pop up where they're like mentioning like what was it, like Metroid, they were gonna do a Metroid cartoon, but it was good.
Yes.
Samus was gonna be a guy, and there's
Yes.
artwork showing that. And other
Uh-huh.
people are like, you've never heard this before. I'm like, not only have I heard of it before, I know a guy.
I know a guy, I know it's true, and he's got artwork to prove it.
Yeah. And also you teamed up with the early voice actor of Sonic, Jaleel White.
That's right, on a game show. I was on a game show, and he was my celebrity partner.
And I understand he was not too happy with you and your team.
No, no, no. I was not too happy with him. I felt like he cost us
Oh,
the game.
oh, okay. I'm sorry. That was the other way around. Okay,
No, 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 no. He was fine with us. I have beef with Urkel.
fair enough. And then there was multiple cartoons, of course, and then the Sonic movie,
The film
which
franchise. Yeah.
will go into the the annals of the internet, showing that the internet can have a positive voice as much as it's always having a negative voice. And I'm always fighting the internet.
Hmm.
The one thing I miss about doing this podcast weekly is yelling at people who are just doing stupid things in the gaming world on the internet. I had a voice here, but we spoke up. That very first trailer for the first Sonic movie, when we
Yep.
saw his design, we were like, no, no,
No,
no, no,
no,
no, no,
thank
no,
you.
no. He has teeth? No. So they spoke up, they redid his design, which came out perfect, and now we're getting a fourth movie coming out
Yep.
next year. Um,
3 movies, a spin-off show
yep.
with
Oh,
Knuckles.
Sonic, yeah, Knuckles. Oh, that was a great
Yep.
show with Knuckles. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it's just amazing how far the franchise has gone. It was actually interesting too because while I was researching for the show this morning, um, I came across something where they interviewed a Sega of America representative, and he had said that they weren't planning on any new Sonic games after the Dreamcast went down. They were just going to
I
put
believe
Sonic to
that.
bed. Yeah, they were going to put Sonic to bed. But then, Nintendo licensed him from Sega, and we got all these other games after that. And now, obviously, a movie franchise.
I feel like I'm not saying it is the first game, but to me, it feels like Sonic was the first game to like not cross over. Well, I guess you could say crossover. Once Sega stopped with the hardware, Sonic
Hmm.
ended up on the GameCube, and I was like, wow,
Yep.
I thought I would never see this. This is
Yep.
wild.
It was one of the
Um,
big, it was like he's the biggest name to cross over to another company.
I would say that up until recently, now that Master Chief is heading over to the PlayStation, Halo
Yes.
is going to be available on PlayStation. But yeah, no, when Sonic Adventure was announced for the GameCube, excuse me. Yeah, I was like, this is wild. This is
Yeah.
insane. This is great. And looking forward to it. And we got great games.
Yeah, we definitely did all the way up until like recently, I think, with Sonic Origins last year.
Sonic Origins was
I believe that was
when was
last
Sonic
year.
Origins? No, Sonic Origins was wait, when is Sonic Origins? It was last year. It's not in
Yeah.
the list because it was a compilation. But no, it was last no, maybe a couple years ago actually. But nevertheless, it was recently. And
Yep.
Sonic Origins is great because it has not only all the console games, the four, one, two, three, well, one, two, yeah, three, and Knuckles,
Yep.
Sonic CD, but it's got like all of the Game Gear games,
Yep.
which is for great Game Gear games, great Game Gear games.
Yeah, they
That's a
made a lot of
collection to
those.
get. If you're looking for a modern collection, for your modern systems, get Origins. Very cool collection.
Yeah. Yeah, so Sonic, yeah, there's not much else you can really say about him with how long he's been around, the international impact he has. He's one of the
Yep,
most recognized video game characters in the world.
100%.
So, a very happy 35th
Yes.
retro birthday to Sonic the Hedgehog. And now let's move on to the bigger anniversary we need to talk about because not only is it great for us to celebrate this, it's not so great to celebrate how old we feel celebrating this.
Oh,
But
ouch.
June 23rd, 1996, in Japan, the Nintendo 64 dropped. 30 years ago today, Larry. 30 years ago today. Granted, we didn't get it until the end of September of that year. So we
Hmm.
had to wait a few months. But still, 30 years of just Nintendo once again bucking the trend, saying we're not going the route of CD-ROMs like the rest of these fools. We made that point when we ditched Sony in the beginning in the
Yeah.
90s with Super Nintendo.
I mean, did they ghost them?
They just
They
ghosted them.
absolutely ghosted
Well, no,
them.
no, no. They ghosted them and then the next day announced their deal with Philips.
They did, like at
CDI.
E3.
Yeah, at
And
E3, they were
Sega's
just like,
like,
you know what? Yeah,
not Sega. Sony's like, wait, what did they just say on this grand stage
Yeah.
that we knew nothing about.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of like telling your girlfriend you'll be right back because you're gonna go sleep with another girl. It's like,
I'm just gonna get some soda. I'll be right back.
I'll be right back. Like
30
literally
years
that's
later.
and then come back and be like, yeah, hit the bricks, we're done.
Seriously, like, oh, you got a newer model? Okay, then.
But
Uh,
yeah, so Nintendo just bucking the trend here with a fifth generation console that's stuck to cartridges.
yeah, yeah, I mean, look, one thing that you have to say about Nintendo, which whether you love or hate Nintendo, you got to say they're not afraid to take chances on innovation.
Hmm.
And the N64, originally the Ultra 64, when it was first being talked about,
That's right.
it was a huge innovation to go into this 3D world. And, as much as they have failures in some people's eyes, like the Virtual Boy or like the Wii, maybe not as fail. Well, Wii's not a failure because it
The
was a
Wii
great
U.
seller.
The Wii
But
U.
no, what I'm getting at is the motion control because Wii U saw motion
Oh,
control. But
yeah,
like
yeah.
some people, like the people who didn't buy Wii was strictly because they didn't crazy weren't crazy. Weren't
Yeah,
crazy about motion
I didn't
control.
buy the Wii. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is they still did it anyway. Like
Yes.
imagine going like this tiny controller when controllers are getting massive and number of buttons. But with the N64, to me, I remember the NES, I remember the Super NES, but I remember moments in my life that the N64, maybe not a part of, but like was there in the background even.
Hmm.
Um, well, first, just a memory of mine, just to touch on real fast, is when I got to get the N64. I owned two games for the N64 for about a month before I got the actual system because
Hmm.
it was so back ordered. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember that.
No, no, no. I do remember that because it was one of the reasons why I argued with my mom at the time that I needed to get it the day of release, even though it was a month before my birthday. And I told her, I said, it will not be available for my birthday. I guarantee you. I was like, can we just go get it now? And I just wore her down.
look,
Um,
look how
I just
smart you
totally
are.
wore her
And
down.
me, I'm like, ma,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I'm like,
want a
yeah. No,
Nintendo.
I know. I didn't have to go full Cartman on her, but I
I was the size of
definitely,
Carmen, so.
yeah, I definitely wore her down. You were not that back then. Um, I wore her down and I did go and I got it and I got the only two games were released with it, which were Super Mario 64 and Pilot Wing 64. But honestly, all you needed was Mario that day. It really was
100%.
all you needed. Although
100%.
I did enjoy Pilot Wings a lot. I know you didn't.
I'm not crazy
Um,
about Pilot Wings. I actually
mm.
had, though, my two games were Mario 64 and Cruise in USA.
But
Those were my first two
Yeah,
games.
but Cruising USA was originally supposed to be a launch title, but it got delayed. So
No, correct. Oh, look,
you
I'm
picked it
not.
up a little
Yeah,
later.
yeah. Like again, I got these games before the system, and I remember just staring at the. All right, you're right. Maybe my memory, maybe it was just in Mario, but in any event,
Yeah.
I'm staring at a cartridge, and I'm like, it's not fitting in the Super Nintendo. What the hell? And because I couldn't wait for the
Yep.
N64, but finally, when the N64, because I pre-ordered it at Toys R Us on Knapp
Mhm.
Street. No, not actually, excuse me,
No,
Flatbush.
Flatbush Avenue.
Yeah, Flatbush Avenue,
Yeah.
excuse me. The ticket, going in the back, wait. No, this was after they redesigned it because they didn't have that wall in the back anymore of games. They
Yeah.
took that when they took it
That
down, you
was
had to go to the
sad.
corner. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's another story I had with
That sad
WrestleMania
day.
on NES. But yeah, so with the N64, 1996, so yeah, I'm a sophomore, junior year in high school for me, give or take. Um, but the N64 really showed off what you can do in 3D. Mario 64 was the blueprint of what to do. And a lot of companies say, like a lot of early publishers were like, yeah, we looked at Mario and like, all right, here's how you do it. Here's how you do it properly. To me, and I know this could be very controversial, the N64 controller is my favorite controller, period.
It's very surprising to me how much I enjoyed that controller because it's so specific. In fact,
Oh,
r-
look at this being
I
prepared and whatnot. Oh, wait.
I have one,
Yeah.
as you can see right here. I have an N64 controller, but this is for my PC. It's USB.
Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah.
USB N64 controller because I use that sometimes to play
Hold on, hold
N64
on, hold on.
games.
Hold that up again. Hold that up again.
Yeah, I'll hold that
You
up
ever see
again.
the meme that comes out? How do you wrap the wire
Yeah,
on an N64
yeah, and
controller?
the way I wrap the wire is the way people tell me, like, it's the worst way to wrap the wire, but that's how I do it. So, but the N64 controller, definitely a very strange controller when it came out, but when you play with it, it's very comfortable to play
Yes.
with. It's very comfortable to play with.
Especially and for games that you hated,
Yep,
for first person shooters,
yep,
GoldenEye, that
yep,
controller. I tried when they re-released GoldenEye, and the N64 GoldenEye, they released it
yep,
on the Switch and they released it on Xbox. So
yes.
you can play on Xbox, but playing with an Xbox controller with that game, I'm sorry, it just doesn't have the same feel. You
Mhm.
got to have an N64 controller, hold it in the middle. You have
Yep,
the Z button as like the trigger.
yep,
Who knew decades later? You always hear about this. This was discovered decades later. And GoldenEye was a twin stick shooter. If you have two N64 controllers, you can actually twin stick it like you would
yes,
on modern consoles today.
yeah,
Also, that
yeah,
worked with, I mean, sure, a lot of games. They also worked with Star Wars Racer,
yes,
pod
yes, it
racers. Yeah.
did.
Um,
But
yeah.
love
And
the
then
controller.
go ahead.
I
I'm sorry.
also loved it. I was just gonna say, but I also loved that controller. I don't. Like I said, surprisingly comfortable to hold in your
Yeah.
hand and play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ergonomic.
ergonomically
Ergonomic.
correct.
Um, and then of course, me and you, when we started hanging out, and then when we got the N64 respectively, because it was the first system to have the native 4 ports for
Yes,
controllers, that changed what we did when we hung out forever. We
yes,
never went back to,
no,
just handing,
no,
playing two-player games, handing the controller off. There was, I mean, there was at most 5, 6 of us in a group, at the height of all of us hanging out. But if there
yep,
was 4 of us, and with our love of also of wrestling, I mean, NWO Revenge, World Tour, No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000. I mean, we played these games on the N64 until the sun came up.
yes.
And
We
and
nonstop,
yeah,
nonstop.
yeah, it just, and those are the memories I have,
Yep.
especially going over to your house and just setting up the game system and just playing these games for hours.
Yeah. Yeah, this one definitely has like the strongest memories for me as well because of all the multiplayer. Because, not only that, like, my younger sister and her friends would come over and we would play Mario Party nonstop.
Okay.
All the Mario Party games. Again, they release games specifically to be 4-player games. Everything had some type of 4-player mode to it. Star Fox had a 4-player mode to it. GoldenEye had the 4-player mode added in a month before they released the game.
Yeah.
And it
Without
turned
the
out
company knowing.
without the company knowing, and it became like the most popular part of that game.
It got me
Like,
through college.
yeah, like Nintendo 64 to me was the ultimate party console. It was the easiest way to play a game with 3 of your friends. Like you said, the ports were already there, but the library of games, which is most important, right? The library of games was there for you so that you could play the again Mario Kart 64,
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh. So good.
endlessly playing that, and then Diddy Kong Racing was another one that came out.
Mm.
Like there were so many games, and then but now putting the multiplayer portion aside, you got some amazing single player first party games on that system. You know, Super Mario 64 we talked about just literally changed the landscape of video gaming when you saw it. I mean, because now granted, I know that PlayStation and Saturn were already doing 3D gaming, but there was something
Oh
about
yeah,
them. Yeah,
Nintendo wasn't first, but they
they
made
weren't
themselves
first.
best.
Yes, but yeah, Mario 64 to me was just far and away superior to everything 3D up until that point. And then, of course, eventually we were gifted with The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which to this day still, according to based on Metacritic, the
Mhm.
best rated game of all time. And of course, now we're on the heels of a remake or a
Yes.
remaster coming. I don't remember. I don't know
Epic.
if it's a remake or remaster. They haven't
Yeah,
said.
right. It's well, the way it looks gorgeous. At least the very
Looks remake to
early.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if Metacritic's going to give it another 99.
maybe.
Yeah, curious how that's going to play out. But no, you're right. And to talk about memories, Ocarina of Time is the first thing I ever bought with a credit card under my own name.
Nice.
I was in college. a free credit, not free, but a credit card came to me. Actually, it was already like in my name. They already gave it to me with like very low. It was like $1,000 on it. And I
Yeah.
remember telling my parents, I got this. It came to me. I was dorming. I went to Adelphi. I dormed. So my parents like, all right, we'll set it up. We'll begin your credit history,
Yep.
which has taken dips, and because of this podcast, and and they're like, all right, use it for emergency purposes only. Well, guess what? I needed a copy of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and back then, which I love how people complain today. Oh my God, Switch 2 games are $80. Yeah, so were N64 games back then.
Yep.
And an $80 game back then, how much is that now with inflation? I'm not saying don't
Oh,
do the
who
math,
knows?
but I'm just saying. So I don't know why people complain. But then see, this is why I said this is why I need to vent.
You need you
Um,
need your platform to vent.
I do.
Oh, and by
But
the way, just so you
yeah.
know, Ocarina of Time, buying that on your credit card was an emergency. You had to get that game.
No, I did.
And you
I
could have
absolutely
argued that to your parents.
I don't think I certainly didn't tell them because the bill was still coming to me. Uh, but in any event, you're right. It's just the way those games just looked beautifully, the way they ran comfortably, smoothly. And being a only child, meaning I've always experienced single player games, but a lot of multiplayer in college. Like I said, there were just weekends in the dorms that we got together in my room because I was the one with the N64. I had the 4 controllers and we would just play whether it was Mario Party, the first one Mario Party, like getting into argument. I'm sure there was a fight broke out at some point. Um, Mario Party, Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye, where we had prison rules. So if you didn't have a gun, too bad, you're still getting shot. And then of course the most epic game that we used to play in a dormitory, and especially on the men's wing. And I say that, remember, it was the 90s.
Yep.
We were playing Pokemon Puzzle League.
Yes.
But we were like competitive about it. And just hearing, when you're walking down the hall and you just hear like Squirtle, Pikachu, Squirtle. I'm like, oh, all right, who's playing my system without telling me? Be like, hey ladies, no, that's not my dorm room. Don't worry about it. But just the nights of just having those multiplayer games, multiplayer nights, that's why I equate my college with the N64, hanging out with you and all of our friends with
Yep.
the N64. We played other systems, but it's the N64 I remember.
Yeah,
And
and
that's the one.
it's the timing. It was the timing of it.
Yeah.
It came out at the right time for us. It was basically at a time when we would have made that decision of, is it time to kind of pack up the gaming and become an adult? Or do we just really latch onto this and continue on? And thanks to the N64, I think, obviously that decision was made.
And not only that, but we, at that time when it came out, I was 16, you were 18. So you had readily more disposable money for an 18-year-old than I did, because you probably had a job by then. You were probably working in the video store by then, right?
Oh
you
yeah,
were, absolutely.
I was already working.
So like you had a job, so you had money. In other words, I'm saying is the N64 is when we all started. The N64 is the first system where we were able to make our own decisions about games.
Yes.
All the other systems I had to wait till Christmas or my birthday or Easter to get stuff. So yeah, the N64 will always hold close and dear to me in my heart. When the N64 collection came out on the Switch, I was like, game on, here we go, let's do this.
Yes.
Until I picked up the analog 64. I'm like, all right, even better, game on, let's go, let's do this. And now my collection of right there. Of N64 games is starting to get bigger again. So
nice. Yeah, and of course I got the N64 module with my Polymega, so I've got all my N64 games on that now as well. And obviously now we're also looking into like the fun of homebrews, which people are making N64 homebrews. Right here I have a copy of WCW Saturday Night, which you got me. Which basically is WrestleMania 2000, just using the WCW characters. So now, and just looking online at all the other versions of this game, because we were huge wrestling fans. We loved playing these games. But now people are making versions of this game, WWF Legends Challenge 64, which is this game, but with all 80s WWF wrestlers. It's just so much fun to see what is still being created for the N64 30 years later. That is just as enjoyable.
And you're right. There's a lot more Kickstarters now that are making physical N64 cartridges.
Yeah.
Glover was one of them, an
Yes.
N64 card game. There's a game that's available on modern consoles right now. It's called Donut Dodo,
Hmm.
and it's a modern game, but it feels like an 80s arcade game to the point where almost you go, did I ever play this? Like you for a minute I thought it was an actual arcade game. It's
Mm.
not, but it feels like one all the way through.
Nice.
I think it might just ended, but there was a Kickstarter, I think, where they're putting that game on physical N64. So that's
Nice.
what I'm saying. Like the N64 now, getting that resurgence, like you said. But yeah, a lot of those games. A game that I think always goes unappreciated is Star Wars Shadow of the Empire.
Oh no, that does not go unappreciated. It's
I
an
think it
amazing game.
does. No, no,
Everybody
not unappreciated. Underrated.
underrated. You think it's
Yeah, underrated.
anybody I ever talked to about who played that game absolutely loved it. And to be
Yes.
honest with you, the limited experience I've had with that game, I enjoyed. I just
Yeah.
never played it all the way through.
Yeah.
But Shadows of the Empire is definitely one of the better games on the N64 for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, just absolutely amazing. And I mean, we can continue talking about this, forever, and we will continue
I was gonna
talking
say
about it
we
forever.
might.
But for now, a very happy 30th retro birthday to the Nintendo 64. Honestly, made such a strong impact in both of our lives. We had to take time out to really stop and highlight this and
Mhm.
spotlight it. And as we wrap up this show, Larry, as we wrap up this episode, for which we talked way longer than I wanted us to, which is on par for us. Um, for those of you out there who want to continue hearing our stories about the N64, we're going to be doing a retro spotlight. Again, pulling from the past. We're going to be doing a retro spotlight on the Nintendo 64 on our bonus levels. So for subscribers to the bonus level on YouTube and Spotify, you can get the continued conversation on the Nintendo 64. But for now, on this episode, Larry, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming back to celebrate 10 years of our podcast, 30 years of the N64, 35 years of Sonic. There was a lot to celebrate this time around.
There's, when I started this podcast, I didn't have so much gray and I wasn't wearing glasses.
That's right.
So that's another thing we swapped. So
That's
now,
right. That's right.
I'm the one with glasses.
I was wearing glasses, although I will say I do have the grays. I just hide them. I hide them well.
I'm proud of mine.
Yeah,
But no, it's great
I
to be
just
back.
shaved.
10 years, phenomenal. Like I said, I'm very happy that the show is still going for 10 years, 10 more at least. Let's go to 5 first. But yeah,
one step at a time. And then
let's keep this
again,
going.
as we mentioned at the start of the show, be sure to check out Larry's podcast, What's in My Popcorn, his movie podcast, and then obviously our other podcast, Rewriting Wrestling History, Retro Game News, Retro Gamers Podcast. Check them all out. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave some solid reviews. Those are always helpful too.
Yes.
Larry, thank you so much for joining me for this show.
Always happy to be
All
here.
right, and for everybody out there, we'll see you either on the bonus level or the next time on the Retro Gamers Podcast.